Welcome to episode 15 of Rogue Mode 0 to 40 in Flight of Nova. We are presently at Gaba Station, and we're not going to make that. We need to find ourselves an Alkin mission. It's 4 difficulty, and Alkin is close by. That's an orbital transfer, which is my favorite thing to do. So we have 2.5 hours to get out there. That's more than enough time. And salvage cargo. We're already in the right boat. So we'll just get flying out here a little ways, and we'll see if we can't identify where Alkin Station is. And we're going to need to chase it down. I was trying to see Gaba Station floating away, but it's kind of dark anyway. So the problem that we have right now is that if I get within 70 kilometers of Alkin Station, then the shipping container is going to trigger, it's going to spawn, and then if I get 70 kilometers away from that container, because I speed wobble the station, then I'm in trouble. So I need to make sure that I don't speed wobble the station, because if I speed wobble the station, I'm gonna lose the mission. So what I need to do is be 100% sure that I don't speed wobble the station. Alright, we are moving towards it pretty quickly. Nearly 3 kilometers per second. But I don't want to do anything yet. Still want to get pretty close. And now it's going to take a little while for us to get down there, but I mean, we're talking about 100 seconds. But I just would rather do it that way than speed wobble the station and fail the mission because the container spawned in and then I moved too far away from it. Alright, so there's the container. 30 kilometers actually was the distance we got from the marker before it moved to the new location where the container actually is. But then if we got about 70 kilometers away from that after this point, that's when we would find that it disappears and we fail the mission. Look at my engines are just like half on. That's my buggy controller. Pretty sure. I spy a dock port that I'd rather go to first. Oh, we'll go to this even closer one. That might get us all the way to level 22. We can fly back to Gaba Station. Let's do that. We are level 22. We will now fly back to Gaba Station. We are now clear of station space. Throttle on. We are now traveling towards Gaba Station. Not concerned with the speed wobble so much on this trip, as we cannot lose the mission from a speed wobble unless we run out of propellant, which is fairly unlikely. Our objective here is just to get there eventually. Alright, we're going to be popping up to we'll go for their apoapsis and see what happens. We'll try to match their apoapsis on this burn and see if that trajectory is going to put us where we want to be to circular rise and just rendezvous normally. I think we're going to get to that altitude a little early. But that's okay. There's ways of lingering when we have so much propellant to play around with. But it looks like they're coming at us pretty quick. Oh yeah, real quick. 7 kilometers a second, just about 6.5. Matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and line up for our circularization burn. And it should be no time before we're engaging. Here's our current trajectory. We're on a nice little parabolic trajectory. I don't know that we'll be lining up our apoapsis with our desired distance to their station. Doesn't look like it to me. Looks like we'll be a little bit low altitude, but that's perfectly okay. That is within the window of acceptability, because catching up in this case is a little bit easier than falling behind. So we're going to be cusping 600 kilometers altitude, so we're about 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers off of our altitude target, which means that we'll be about 100 kilometers off of our altitude target, which means that I'm going to start burning right now. So we're going to circularize, hopefully, into a pretty much similar orbit as Gamma Station. And that'll make a rendezvous a nice gentle process. So our apoapsis is climbing very dramatically, so we want to do something about that right away.
Raider TL01, Station Gamma. Good to see you. We have you on approach.
Alright, I cannot read that, but it appears to say 43.9 kilometers away. That's going to be like 120 seconds. So I'm going to give it a little bit of juice, get that under a minute. We can always go to a dock port before we go to the landing pad. That should give us a little bit of a lengthening to our mission time. We don't really need to do it all on the float. I'm not sure where a dock port is going to be. There's one right there. What do you know, Dockport 22. Back again, huh? And we're going right back to our favorite landing pad from before. Everyone loves Dockport 22. I heard that's where the party happens.
Freighter TL01, cover station. You are go for docking.
Reach 77 and negative 3.7. Oh, jeez. Sydney Delta, it's pretty close. We'll align for Ferrandis. And we're way up at 750 kilometers, so there's always the chance that we are better suited flying down to a lower altitude station. Are any close? The answer is no. Alkin Station is the closest one, but it's getting further and further away. Galdar's getting closer, but that's actually a higher altitude station. So we are going to wait at a dock port. I'm partial to dock port. Oh geez, wrong direction. 22. Let's go over here and see if there's a dock port. And then from that dock port, we will re-enter from a 750 kilometers altitude. So I don't really know what's an appropriate pattern of FPA and stuff like that to get a nice, comfortable re-entry. Is there even a dock port on this plane? Okay, it was 22. Alright, so we're 4,000 kilometers out. Let's see what 4,000 does for us at 750. If we go to about a minus 15. Where's down? There's down. So what I want to do is point straight down-ish. Pretty much. About right. And straight down is right there, so we gotta get away from the station first. Watch me hit something. Alright, now we're at about negative 10. So I'm going to go to about a negative 15 FPA. I want to see whereabouts that negative 15 FPA is going to place me after disembarking at 4,000. Not sure that we're going to get to the target altitude in time. But let's just see what happens. If we go at 4,000 and negative 15, when we get to the target altitude, we will look at the distance and we'll make a judgment based on that, what a 750 should look like. See, I went all the way to an FPA of negative 15, but actually my FPA is gradually reducing despite gravity. Just because of the trajectory of orbit. Alright, so we're getting down to 500 and we're still 2,700 out. Not losing at a 1-to-1 ratio, which would be a negative 45 degrees FPA. We're losing at about a 4-to-1. Alright, so 2,400 kilometers, that's where the normal disembarkation re-entry window happens, and we're still all the way up at 430 kilometers. So we needed to drop 300 kilometers in about 1,000 kilometers. I don't know if that's going to happen. Even with gravity giving us that gradual increase in our descent, our FPA is still dropping. But a negative 15 FPA still takes a pretty significant burn to level off to a negative 5.5 FPA at the right altitude. So I don't really want to be coming down at some kind of negative 40, negative 30 FPA, because last time I did that, it ended in disaster. Coming up on 300 kilometers altitude. I mean, if I just got a double back, then we'll just double back. We'll just let this run like an experiment. We're about 100 kilometers above normal disembarkation, but we're already at 1700. So at negative 13.98, see, we're just gradually losing our FPA advantage here. We're going to be all the way down to negative 10 by the time we get down to our target altitude, which would be just a regular old re-entry. Although we'll be way behind schedule. More than 1,000 kilometers behind schedule. Alright, it's time. We are at negative 13 FPA. I'm going to bring us down to about a negative 6 FPA. I want to be a little aggressive on this. Alright, so that put us at about 1,000 kilometers out. I would have wanted to be more like 4,500 kilometers for a negative 15 FPA, 4,400. Maybe like a 4,400 kilometers offset for a 750. So that 4,000 might have been good for the 455. If we come in hot enough, this will work out, but it's gonna have to be pretty hot, pretty hardcore. We'll just run this 6G maneuver. It's our emergency braking plan. So it can be done at 4,000, but it's non-ideal. It's a performance activity to do that. That's not what you would call the conservative approach. I would say the conservative approach would add another 400 kilometers onto that. 4,400 kilometers at 750 for a negative 15 FPA is what I would say is probably what you're looking to achieve. And then based on that, I would put about a 4,000 offset, probably good for a 450 station. So maybe that'll be my new target altitudes, my new target re-entry programs for a little while. Because I really want to just get the most efficient re-entry without conducting a apoapsis burn. You know, you want to try to skip the apoapsis burn and do just only the last bit of the re-entry from 100 kilometers. That part you want to be the same, and then you just have 2 burns to work at a nice conservative FPA of aggression. You don't want to burn halfway and burn halfway. This is nice coming down here to this very close spaces together, because if we want to choose a mission that requires a different vehicle, there's a much better chance that one will be around.
DL01, base 102, ground. Good to see you. We have you on approach.
Looks like a Calum EX5 from here. Oh no, it's a freighter. Oh yeah, it's definitely a freighter. Oh, we're into that dust storm. That dust storm won't stop a ship like this, though. Alright, this is going to put us pretty close to 23. It's a drop zone mission, 1 kilometer away, but it's 3 containers we gotta fly back and forth, but it looks like it's only gonna be like a 1 or 2 kilometers trip each time. That's 1 container, but we gotta fly 500 kilometers just to do it. Let's do this. Maybe we'll do both of those. Have to grab 3 containers to complete this mission. Oh, we gotta land and ride the elevator. I thought we were going to be self-loading, but I guess not. Little bit of a hard landing. But I do believe it is still a drop zone mission. I just kind of wish I didn't have to ride the elevator. Release cargo above the drop point. this kind of hover is it's really hard to maintain with the container. You don't have that much thrust. Oh no, I missed. Way easier just to do that other kind of camera. Matter of fact, I can't even grab a container from the other camera. It doesn't even work. Because the nose of the ship keeps you from flying forward onto it. It's like the thing doesn't even give you a proper alignment. If I just go like this, I get it like most of the time. Land again. Ride the elevator. See, because of the way that the nose is so deep right there, that front of the nose is so tall that you can't land on those containers from a horizontal unless you're perfect forward and back. You have to be so perfect forward and back that it doesn't work. But if you come in from a more vertical posture, then the thing just grabs the back and then you flop down on top of it. It works 100% of the time. Super easy. You'd have to fly backwards onto the thing to do the other way, which is unintuitive when you're looking out the front of the ship. Like, the way that vehicles work is if you can see forward, then you move steadily forward for every operation that you do. So if you're going to land, then the pad is out in front of you and you move steadily forward down onto the pad. Or if you're navigating any obstacle, that obstacle is in front of you and you move forward past it. So likewise, the way to drop this thing would really be still from this posture. But then what happens is the container doesn't unhook. It like lands on the bottom of the ship. So then you wanna come in like this. See, look how little thrust I have. I'm at max throttle right now. I'm barely gonna save it. I had any downward momentum at all. So similarly, you would want to come forward on this thing. See, because you can see where it is. You want to be moving gradually forward. And then you want to drop it at the right time. Which I missed again. So I don't even know how you would go about grabbing this container from the regular hover. I mean, eventually you get it at random. But there's no correct way to do it because the alignment is too specific. Like, flying at that alignment doesn't work. The correct way to do it is like this. But then if you look where you are, like, this is the correct way to do it. Not in this game, obviously. In this game, that's not the correct way to do it because it never works. But any real life machine, that's how it works. But I mean, this pickup container system, that actually didn't come before. Like, the freighter did not pick up containers when the freighter was first a part of the game. Like, that was not why this ship was chosen. That wasn't even discovered yet, as it were. A player basically at random, well, not at random, they just tried picking up a container, and because of the way the game was already designed, it did work. And then, by popular demand, it was put into the game to become a mission type. But if you were to engineer the ship to grab containers from a hover, and the pilot was going to see a direction, then you would align it, then you would design that vehicle to align the target where the player can see, and then move in the direction of their sight onto the object to connect to. Like, that's how docking would work. Wouldn't obstruct your most desirable angle of travel out of that equation. You would make that the way that it worked. These missions aren't very good, these ones right here, because this is a ton of work, and look at that was max throttle coming up, but because I flipped with some downward momentum, These missions are a ton of work, and there's almost like no reward for it. Like this should be a much more. 330 is just not even a score, you know? And it's an atrocity of a score. Like you're not gonna get anywhere from that. So if you were trying to plan your mission efficiency, like the only way you would ever do this mission is if it was your favorite thing to do. You would never do that mission otherwise. If all you wanted to do was hook up to containers and then drop them, then you might do something like that. But for that return, that was 3 containers all back and forth. That took me a dang near half hour, and it doesn't even work. I mean, like, doesn't even work. Alright, this one is self-load and drop shaft, but it's 500 kilometers away. But we were going to do this one, so we're just going to go do it. But that only counted as a waste of time. I mean, I grab the container instantly if I come in from the vertical hover. Which I could have just done that instead, of course. I'm gonna get way up to the edge of space on this trajectory. the only time that these ones get a little bit harder. Then you'd want to be able to regular VTOL down onto it. Because these other containers, sometimes I accidentally pick them up. Or sometimes they get in the way of each other and it's like harder to get in there. Like if I come in like this, and sometimes it's hard for me to keep my bottom lined up with it, and then my height needs to be just right. But alright, actually that never happened. Oh look, and then I tried to thrust it all and I still got it. Like, it's so much easier to grab the container from that vertical hover. It's like ridiculously easy. It's like automatic every time. Like that was the worst. That was the worst it could ever be. I don't even know how that happened. I would be saying right now, obviously a hacker was keeping it from working that time. Because it works so well every time. I always say that though. I just think hackers are responsible for everything. But if I was going to try to VTOL down, hover down onto that thing, I mean, that would just be misery. That would be just an endless misery. But see, if I unload it from here, that actually doesn't work that well. Maybe if I set my release container. Yeah, see. I missed. That's because the bottom like hooks it. Picking it up from here works like 100% of the time on the first run. That's not really true. Because look, sometimes my bum gets all crooked and I don't really know why that is. But sometimes my bum gets all crooked. But I mean, that would happen from the VTOL stance. You know? Where does that rotation come from? Why did that thing start to rotate to stay balanced? That's a mystery. We all have to live with that mystery. But you just get it lined up, and then you only have one. Wow. I really got stuck in there. That's pretty crazy. Where's the landing pad? Well, we almost made 23, but we didn't make 23. You can't win them all. All right. That was episode 15. Rogue mode 0 to 40.